Hello, N4H&H here with weak signal CW by request. So here we are. We have a station here on 10.110.48. He's spotted for 110.5, but he's just a little bit off. The indicator there helps you zero in, or you can press the zero in on the Yaesu or the auto tune on the ICOM. So let me let you hear him without any help. Yeah, there he is. Now, digital noise reduction. Set at 15. Now that's someone chasing him. So I just used the digital filter to narrow down to 50. Roofing filters at 500. That's the one it selects for CW, the FTdx10 does. I hear him. So narrowing down really helps. And the DNR, the digital noise reduction, helps deal with that filter ring. You hear the ripple. That ringing sound is called filter ripple. And now APF, audio peak filter. Now with the Yaesu rig, you also have the option to use something called contour. I'll switch to it in a second. Okay, I have neither engaged right now. APF, contour. And with CW, the contour works good in the range of 100 to 300 hertz. No contour. Contour. I mean, these are the kind of stations you have to wear headphones for. Okay, let me switch over to the ICOM. Okay, both rigs are running amp 1. The filtering on the ICOM is problematic. I'm running a bandwidth of 50, shift is 0. What I do with the ICOM to try to help with the filter ring is I'll turn on the manual notch with it set to narrow, and then I'll sneak that up to where the filter ripple is minimized, because that ripple, remember, is at the same frequency as the side tone, so it's going to confuse you. You're not sure if you're hearing a CW signal when they're that weak. You're not sure if it's the CW signal or if it's the filter ripple. Let me switch back to the Yaesu a second. He's there. Wow. So the notch trick's helping a little bit. Let me try noise reduction. I'll max out the noise reduction on the ICOM. Back to the Yaesu. I haven't tried the notch trick with the Yaesu yet. I can. I usually set it about at 80 hertz below the side tone frequency. So here's without notch. The digital noise reduction on the Yaesu is doing a pretty good job to mask that filter ripple. Okay, got another weak one in here. Let me let you hear without the filtering. Digital noise reduction. This is the other station that he's conversing with. And he's quite strong. Well, stronger. You notice the pitch is different, and you'll see the little indicators indicating that he's not right at the same frequency as the other station. Now I'm going to press to the right of the VFO knob. You can't see it if it's off screen because I've got both radios in the view, but I'm pressing the 0 in button on the Yaesu. So you now see the little indicator is in the middle. So the radio has shifted the receive frequency to give me the 600 hertz tone that I desire. I mean, okay, he's not exceptionally strong, but with all this filtering, I mean, again, let's listen to what he would sound like without the filtering. Now back to the other guy. Digital noise reduction. Again, these are the kind of stations you just about need to wear headphones for. Press the 0 in again to get the radio to shift over to this one. Okay, while he's transmitting, let's listen on the IC-7300. Both radios are using preamp 1. The AGC is fast. And remember, on the ICOM, I'm using noise reduction. Let me turn that off. And I'm using the manual notch. To reduce the filter ripple. Now, while we're on the ICOM, I want you to see that I'm on filter 2 400 using the twin passband tuning to help quiet this receiver a little bit. Let me go back with the manual notch and the noise reduction. Noise reduction's at maximum. And the manual notch is set to narrow, and remember the sneak up on it. Oh, they're finished. Maybe we'll hear another one. Well, while they're not transmitting, I can show you this. If I go to filter 3, which is a fixed filter, 50 hertz width, shift 0. But you hear the ripple? Now if I go to filter 2, I can take that ripple down a little bit more. We're still getting some help from the digital noise reduction and the manual notch. Again, sneak up on that side tone with the manual notch until you can still hear the tone, but you've knocked most of the filter ripple out. And I'll guarantee if you wear headphones, you'll be able to get even closer to the side tone without blocking the side tone while still knocking out filter ringing or ripple. But listen to the difference here. I'll turn the volume up a little. So you can go to the 400 filter, and you do your twin passband tuning, bandwidth 50 with a plus 25 shift. That helps combat the filter ripple as well. And again, you know, see, noise reduction helped, and manual notch helped. Here's noise reduction alone. The noise reduction on the ICOM doesn't make as big of a difference as it does on the Yaesu. Let's do that. Okay, that's without the noise reduction on the Yaesu. So the noise reduction on the Yaesu is superior, but you know, still, let's go ahead and do the manual notch trick. And again, what you do, make sure it's on narrow, and while you're listening to someone send, you just keep rotating that dial. You know, it'll start off sounding like that till you get close to where their side tone's going to start dropping, but the noise will as well. And you find a nice compromise between still hearing them and knocking the noise down. So that's how I do it with the 7300. Now on the Yaesu, the noise floor is minimized just from the digital noise reduction. Let me see if I can find another station. Wow. Not him, but the other one's weak. Audio peak filter. The notch trick. See, when I get it right on 600, it knocks him out because I'm knocking out the side tone. But look at this, 30 hertz below. That's how sharp the notch is on this Yaesu. 30 hertz below and I've got him back. Absolute quiet. Now, I've probably notched out the other guy. Let me back off. Turning off the notch. Don't really need it on the Yaesu. I see the two radios are about 10 hertz apart. That's not uncommon. They'll be a little bit off from one another. I did check the Yaesu against WWV, and it is within 1 hertz. I have not checked the ICOM. Back on the Yaesu. Not even moving the meter. ICOM. Back on the Yaesu, of course. Both radios, of course, using their internal speaker, so just as delivered from their manufacturer. You know, he sounds stronger than he is. ICOM. When the stations are a little bit stronger, you can take advantage of the squelch on the ICOM to quiet the noise floor in between dits and DAWs. He's not strong enough to do it. There we go. You hear the squelch on the ICOM is quite fast, so the noise is still there, but we're masking it out with the squelch. But now we can't hear the other guy. Back on the FTdx10. And there's no help from the APF. APF back on. Audio peak filter. Back to the IC-7300. I can actually back off the digital noise reduction a little bit with the Yaesu. We're just not getting any ripple, really. I mean, we're getting it, but we're masking it. ICOM. Yaesu. I'm going to do a little trick where I tighten the width but lower the digital noise reduction. And you can do that if you tighten the width, which will help your selectivity, that you may be able to get away with a lower digital noise reduction. Back on the ICOM. The filtering in the Yaesu is quite good. But if you do on an IC-7300, don't forget, use the notch trick and the digital noise reduction, and maybe try filter 2, work your twin passband tuning a little bit to try to minimize some of that ringing, because that's the issue with weak signals. The filter ripple is going to be the same pitch as your side tone. And so when you're trying to work a station or listening to a station that is so far down in the noise floor, it's hard sometimes to tell what's CW and what's filter ripple. So minimizing the filter ripple will help you pull out those what I call ghost stations. My friend Joel started calling them ghost stations. And my friend Ariel, who makes the antennas that I use for soda, he says they're barely above imaginary. So they're right down there at the filter ripple level. So you've got to deal with the filter ripple in order to pull them out. Okay, switching antennas, 18091. I just pressed the 0 in button. He's stronger on this band. So we should hear him pretty well on the 7300 here. A lot of noise still. Let me go to filter 3. .50 hertz bandwidth. There he is. Both radios are on amp 2. FTdx10. again, I press the 0 in, and it will move frequency to obtain the side tone I want, which is 600 hertz. I'll adjust the ICOM and have it ready. Digital noise reduction. Set at 15. Audio peak filter. Well, you could tell when that kicked in, couldn't you? And narrow the width to 50. You're hearing a little bit more of the filter ripple because we're running amp 2. The more signal you push into the filters, the more ripple you're going to get. That's why I always say, work your noise from the front end and try to use as little amplification in the front end of your receiver as possible. Let's see if we could get away with amp 1. See, it takes the filter ripple down. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and put the ICOM on amp 1. We're going to have the digital, going to have the noise reduction. And use the notch trick. If you wore headphones using the manual notch trick, so you can minimize that filter ripple. I'm not using the notch on the Yaesu. Here's with the notch. .540 hertz. ICOM. Yaesu. See, with the notch on the Yaesu is so tight, I can go up to 540. Let me back it off to 520. That's the way I run it on the FTdx10 MP. Still plenty. Absolute quiet until he sends. ICOM. I'm going to do a quick switch. The next time he sends, I'll switch from ICOM to Yaesu. Yaesu. Now that's the soda station. ICOM. I'll turn the volume up on the ICOM some. Yaesu. So if you're into chasing rare DX, QRP, CW stations, it's worth the extra money to get the FTdx10. I'm not taking anything away from the ICOM. It's a great radio for casual operating. It's very intuitive, so to me that makes it a great radio for someone who's just getting into amateur radio to learn. But it's not at the level of the FTdx10 for weak signal receive. And that's mainly attributed to the digital signal processing in the Yaesu. The Yaesu also has the advantage in the front end. The receiver front end is super heterodyne, which helps with selectivity. But then it also benefits from the software-defined radio technology, because in between the super heterodyne front end and the digital signal processor is a SDR in the FTdx10. That's why they call it a hybrid. So you have the best of both worlds, so to speak. I think he's finished, but that's good. We got what we wanted out of that. For those of you who had requested to see a comparison between the IC-7300 and the FTdx10 with weak CW signals. Well, I hope you found the video helpful and informative. If you're trying to choose between these two radios, well, there's a price difference of, $400 or $500, I guess. Maybe $600, depending on sale prices. But, it's a matter of the ICOM's a very user-friendly radio, great for casual operating, easy to operate, touch screen, similar to how phones work now today. Of course, the Yaesu also is touchscreen driven, and has the waterfall. It's just the difference is going to be the SDR technology that's in the Yaesu coupled with the super heterodyne front end and the digital signal processing in the Yaesu gives it the edge for weak signal reception. It is what it is. You choose according to your operating style. If you're rag chewing on 75 meters at night with your friends, the ICOM's all the radio you need. If you want to get out and chase rare DX, weak signals, then, the Yaesu is definitely worth the extra money. I want to take this time to thank my Patreons. My newest VIP Patreon is David. I don't put your last names out, just, as a caution. But I do want to thank you, David, for joining as a VIP Patreon. Also, Keith joining as an executive Patreon. And John, I have many Johns, by the way. John's an associate Patreon. I have another John who is a VIP Patreon. And you know who you are, John, over there in the UK. And then Jonathan, also an executive Patreon. And Michael, who is a associate Patreon. Another John, who is an executive Patreon. And Jeff, who's a VIP Patreon. Thank you, Jeff. And Todd, who is also an associate Patreon. John, another John, who's an executive Patreon. And Doug, my friend Doug. He's local here in the Atlanta area. Thank you, Doug. He's an executive Patreon. And Don, my one and only Don. Don't have any other Dons, so you know who you are, executive Patreon Don. And then Marty, who's also an executive Patreon. Thank you so much, Marty. He's been with me a while. And I have to give a big shout out to Chuck because he was my first Patreon. Chuck is an executive Patreon. So I wanted to recognize all of you by name. Thanks so much for supporting the channel and making this possible so we can dive more into radio comparisons, operating techniques, and just sometimes just plain old fun, right? Thanks so much, you guys. And if you would like the video, subscribe to the channel. That helps the channel as well. And of course, if you'll click the bell, you'll be notified when I upload the next video. So thanks for watching, and 73 from N4HNH.